So you want to install a porcelain tile on your kitchen floor. Are you sure you know what you need to do to get that done so that it won't fall apart, so it'll look good? In this video I'm going to talk about some of the things you need to do to make sure that the tile floor that you're installing is going to last and it's not going to fall apart and you're going to be happy with it. So before you go out and buy any tile, before you even think about buying tile, first you have to determine whether your floor is strong enough to support tile. And there are a couple of options here. It could either be a ceramic porcelain tile or a natural stone tile. There are two standards that you need to take into account. A natural stone tile, which would be marble, granite, slate, anything that you quarry out of a mountain. The floor has to be twice as stiff than it does for a man-made porcelain or ceramic tile. You need to determine your deflection. Then you need to see, once you know that the floor is going to be strong enough, then you need to see how flat or how out of level the floor is. And the bigger the tile, the flatter it has to be. Flat is the most important thing. Level isn't necessarily required, but you want it to be as flat as possible. You need to see how flat it is to determine if you're going to have to do any leveling, have to take out a dip out of the floor, or if you've got a crown, or you're going to have to. I'm not going to go into the specifics on how you do that. What I'm trying to get at here is to help you determine whether you can tile a floor or not, and how to come to a decision on what you need to do. So you determine that your floor is strong enough and it's flat enough. Once you know that, or you've corrected that, now you have to decide on an underlayment. There are several different kinds of underlayments that you can use, which include plywood, cement backer board, an uncoupling membrane. There's also liquid types of backer boards that you can use, Ardex in particular. Plywood is probably the one that I recommend the least. It's probably the most difficult to install correctly so that you don't have any problems. It goes by type, thickness, how you install it. I don't recommend plywood, although it can be done. Next is a cement backer board. If you're going to install a cement backer board, install it according to the manufacturer's directions. That usually includes, actually always includes, installing it on a bed of thinset. Use the correct notch trowel and use proper type of fasteners in the proper interval that needs to be followed. The one that I like to use the most is an uncoupling membrane. There's several different kinds. Schluter, you've seen me use Schluter a million times. Schluter makes one. Mapei makes one. Ardex makes one. Custom makes one. Laddercrete makes one. They all work basically the same way. Most of the features are the same, although some of them can be waterproof very easily. Others need a little more work. I would recommend that you use an uncoupling membrane. It has the lowest profile, and it is the easiest to install, and it gives you the most benefits. Backer boards are perfectly fine. I've installed thousands upon thousands upon thousands of square feet of backer boards over the years. I've done many floors with plywood. I have moved away from that. It's just the riskiest type of underlayment that you can use, although if done properly according to CCNA standards, it can be successful. So now, you know your floor is strong enough. You know your floor is flat enough, or you've rectified the flatness issues with the floor. Same can be done with, if it's not strong enough, if you can add strength to the subfloor. I'm not going into how to do that. So you got strong, flat, and you've decided on your underlayment. Now you have to decide on your tile. Best type of tile to put on a floor, in my opinion, is a porcelain tile. Don't go with a ceramic tile, go with a porcelain tile. They're denser, they're stronger, they're more durable. Decided on your tile. If you're going to use a large format tile, which today most floors you put down today are large format. A large format tile is any tile that has one side longer than 15 inches. You've decided on your tile. Getting to the point where you're going to get ready to install your tile. When you're installing your backer board or your underlayment to a plywood subfloor, you need to make sure that you get the correct type of thinset or actually dry set mortar to install your product to your subfloor. I also have a video that explains that standard A118 point whatever. You need to determine what kind of thinset to use. And also, if you've got a smaller tile or a tile which is not a large format tile, you can use a standard type thinset. I mean standard in the sense that it's not designed for a large format tile. So if you're getting a large format tile, you want to use a thinset that is designed for large format tile. What that means is that the thinset, the bond coat can be deeper because the tiles are bigger, so you need a bigger trowel. Another thing, you need to decide on your trowel. The coverage of the tile, on the back of the tile, when you install the tile in a dry area has to be 80%. In a wet area or an exposed area, it has to be 95%. Or for a natural stone, it has to be 95% wet or dry. Just going over some quick little things that you should take into account, and you should research it more before you install your tile. We've decided on the tile, we know what kind of thinset we're going to use. Now you have to decide on your grout line, the grout width. And the grout width is not going to be determined by what you like, it's going to be determined by how even the tile runs each individual tile. So if the variation in size of the tiles are more than a certain amount, then you need to increase your grout width. The rule of thumb is that the width of the grout line should be 3 times the difference in size of the tile. So if you've got a tile, the variation in tile size is a 1/16 of an inch from one tile to another. They can be 1/16 of an inch bigger or smaller, then your grout line should be 3/16 of an inch. That being said, today most people want narrow grout lines. If you're doing a running bond, it's easier. You don't have 4 corners that have to line up. If you've got rectified tile, I also have a video for that. If you have rectified tile, then the grout lines can be narrower. But in any case, the grout line should always be at least a 1/16 of an inch, never smaller than a 1/16 of an inch. So if you want a 32nd inch grout line, no. If you want to butt the tiles together, absolutely not. There are reasons for that. We'll go into that in another video. I'm just giving you an outline of some of the things that need to be done. So going back to your substrate, if you're going over concrete, for example, make sure that your concrete is porous, that the thinset would actually penetrate into the concrete and there's no bond inhibitors. When you're troweling out your thinset, you always want to do directional troweling. What that means is there's not going to be any swirls. The trowel lines are always going to go in one direction, preferably if you've got a plank tile or a longer tile, a tile that is longer on one side, preferably the trowel line should all go the short way. However, the most important thing is coverage. So even if you have to go the long way, sometimes you can't go the short way for whatever reason. The coverage and transfer is the most important thing. So you need to make sure you get the correct coverage on the tile. We're talking about trowels and directional troweling. Another very important thing is the size of the trowel. You want to get the correct size trowel. If you've got a big tile, you're probably going to need a bigger trowel. If you've got a small tile, you're probably going to need a smaller trowel. However, for a big tile, you're probably never going to use a small trowel, but for a small tile, you might need a big trowel. Check your coverage. Install some tile, 1 or 2 tiles with your directional troweling, and then pick one up and see what your coverage is. Back buttering tiles can be very helpful with transfer. Doesn't necessarily mean it's going to increase your coverage, but it will help with transfer. Flat side, key the substrate with the flat side of the trowel. If you've got plywood, before you put notch trowel lines out with your thinset, make sure you use the flat side of the trowel to key in the thinset. That actually promotes much better bond. There have been tests and it shows that there's much better bond. Another important thing is cleanliness. Make sure there's no dust on your floor, and it's always a good idea to wipe it with a clean sponge as you go along before you spread your thinset. What that does is It gives the thinset, especially on porous surfaces, it gives the substrate a drink so it doesn't draw the moisture out of the thinset prematurely. It cleans any residual dust, so it promotes a better bond. Clean as you go along. Don't leave thinset between the grout joints to harden. It's easy to clean out while it's still fresh. I always have a bucket of water and a sponge with me. It's easy to clean out while it's still fresh. Clean it out and move on. If you leave it for the next day, it's going to be harder to clean out, and the longer you leave it, the more the thinset cures, the harder it's going to be to clean out. Keep the surface of the tile as clean as possible also. So I just wanted to make this quick video to give just a real brief guide to the things you need to do to have a successful floor tile installation. If you're using a large format tile, I highly recommend a leveling system to reduce slippage. You don't want lippage between the tile, whether it's a large format tile or it's a smaller tile. Doesn't matter what it is, you don't want lippage. Lippage is when one tile is higher than the other. A lot of guys think that the leveling system creates voids under the tile. It does not. If you're installing your tile properly, it's going to be perfectly fine. If you're installing your tile incorrectly, then it doesn't matter if you're using a leveling system or not, you're going to have problems. If you're going to seal the grout, make sure you let it set up and cure the correct amount of time. You don't want to put your grout in today and seal it tomorrow. You want to give it the correct amount of time to cure before you seal it. Some porcelain tiles, even though they're porcelain, they still need to be sealed, especially if it's a honed or if it's a polished porcelain tile. They need to be sealed before you grout. Also, tools are important. If you've got a large format tile, a little rinky-dink tabletop saw is not going to serve you well. You need to get a good saw. If you don't want to buy it, rent it. A snap cutter is going to save you a ton of time. One of those cheap ones that you get at the box stores might work or might not work. And if you don't want to buy one, rent a good snap cutter. I have several of them and I use them every day. Tile blade. The diamond blade on your saw is going to make a difference. If you've got a cheap, crappy diamond saw blade, you're gonna struggle cutting your tile. If you've got a good diamond blade, it's gonna just cut like butter. And different materials require different kinds of blades. A porcelain tile is not gonna cut the same way as marble if you're using a marble blade. A glass tile blade is not gonna work well on porcelain tile, and a porcelain tile is going to eat up your glass blade like crazy. Before you start, do a lot of research. Even if you're going to hire someone, know the system that they're installing and ask a lot of questions. The more you know, the better off you are if you're going to do it yourself or if you're going to have someone install it. You can spot a problem before it gets too far if you know what needs to be done.
Hey, if you got any useful information out of this video, why don't you give me a like? That will really help me out. And check out my channel. I got lots of useful information on how to install tile the proper way. Been doing this for 40 years. So subscribe so you get my latest videos. Ring that notification bell and comment on the video. I try and answer as many questions and comments as possible. Please leave a like, subscribe, comment, and share. Thanks for watching this video. Hope you got something out of it. Don't forget, like the video. Thanks.